Good evening and welcome back to community. We have missed you all. We have enjoyed
Yes,
our break though. We definitely have enjoyed our break.
absolutely enjoyed the break. But we have not been fully breaking though. We
No,
have still been
not at
working.
all. We just been enjoying our work weeks so much. We just needed to
Yes,
get used to them again. Um,
absolutely.
but we're back and thank you for tuning in for season 2 of Community, season 2,
We
episode 1.
got we got 2 seasons, girl.
Girl, we started in the spring,
Yes,
spring and summer, and we took a little reprieve, but
yes.
we're back. So, Portia, tell us what's going on. What are the announcements?
Okay, so always, first and foremost, we are repping our amazing organization. So we are here on behalf of the NAACP Houston branch. So that is our first priority. We are a membership-based organization, and we, of course, always need volunteers, always need your support. So we would love for you to become a member. It's $30 for 1 year. So if you join today on October 6th, 2020, you'll be a member just for $30 until October 6th of 2021. But if you want to have a deeper, more long-lasting relationship like myself in July with this wonderful organization, we encourage you to take out a life membership. So you can start off as a subscribing life member at $75 a year for 10 years. Or you can double or triple up. Or if you have the whole amount right now, you can join right now for $750, one-time fee, and you're a lifetime member of our organization. So if you want to join us here in Houston, you can go to our website, naacphouston.org/join. Or if you happen to not be in the Houston area and you want to join our organization, we encourage you to go to our national website, naacp.org, put in your zip code, and it'll bring up the closest unit in your area for you to join right now today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Portia, for those announcements. And I know we're going to catch you shortly. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our partner before I let you go and bring in Ray Shackelford. Hi, Ray.
Hey, Ray.
Good evening. How you doing?
Good, good. We're good. Thank you for joining us. Ray is the national president for the Young Professionals, right? Urban League Young Professionals.
Yes, that's correct.
And he's representing the Houston area Urban League this evening, who is our partner. They're our partner in, I would say, in crime,
So many things.
our partner in service and
Service, yes.
and just in community. And we thank the Urban League for this great partnership. And Ray, just thank you for always extending and receiving the opportunity to work together. So tell us about tonight. Tell us what we got coming up.
Yes. So definitely I echo the sentiments that you shared, July, in terms of our partnership. You know, it's been a very fruitful one. We've been working together a lot, especially here lately with everything with the census and voter engagement that's going on. And, you know, even Portia was talking, I think it's very apropos or appropriate because she was talking about being a long-term relationship. And it made me think about, you know, our guest this evening from the Northeastern Ministers Alliance. And it gave me that church feel. And so, you know, tonight is very much about educating the community on what is on our ballot. You know, a few weeks ago, we were able to do something where we had a candidates forum. But in talking to the pastors and, you know, hearing from the community, you know, everybody doesn't understand what the roles and responsibilities of every different position are. And so this is an opportunity for us to educate them, to answer some of those questions, and do our best to make sure they're prepared to vote. And so in that vein and continuing with that, you know, long-term relationship and church feel, I do want to introduce Pastor T.O. Berry, the president of the Northeastern Ministers Alliance.
Hello, how are you? What you say, Shaq?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Man, doing good, doing good, doing good.
Well, you want to tell everybody a little bit about the Northeastern Ministers Alliance?
Well, actually, we are a variation of a ministers' alliance. Our name is the Northeast Levites, and we're a group of ministers who have joined our voices and joined our resources together. We meet once a month on the last Friday of each month, and we just share with one another. Many of us, well, all of us, serve our congregations by doing whatever is necessary to build them up spiritually and nurture them in their walk with Christ. But a lot of times, there's not a lot of support for us. And so we support one another by sharing every Tuesday morning at 6:30. As a matter of fact, this morning, it's been a long day. We start off the Tuesday morning with prayer for one another. It's about 9 of us, small for specific reasons. We're not trying to be big, large numbers, but it want to keep it intimate so that we can hone in on each other and serve each other better. So it's a real great fellowship. All of our churches, our families know each other. And like I shared with you, man, we pray with each other every Tuesday morning at 6:30 in the morning, and it is a great, great fellowship. Yeah.
No, thank you for that. And it's good to know that it's a praying group.
Yeah.
Because we need it, especially in 2020 with everything going on with the election, and a lot of the voter suppression things that people are experiencing as a result of COVID, the pandemic and whatnot. And I think it flows very nicely with our other guest, my big brother, Reverend Jock Dinkins. I know he's going to bless us with a word of prayer as we get to it tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To the immutable and sovereign, to the eternal, to the self-existent one, to the one who is the highest court, not only in the land, but in the galaxy, we again humble ourselves, and we're calling on you to hear the cries of your people. We're crying out in so many ways because of social injustice, so many suppression and oppressions on the people that are on the margins of life.
Yeah.
And as we gather together and unify in one voice, we pray that heaven would hear and heaven would move on our behalf. We know it's in your time and not ours, but we thank you that even now you have already made a way. Thank you for the way you are bringing us together in ways we never thought we would be able to be brought together. And now the victory is in your hand. It's not our victory, but your victory.
Yeah.
Thank you for these young people who are carrying on the fight as we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. Thank you for their vigor. Thank you for their vision. And I pray that you'll establish the work of their hands. And now as we have this meeting, all that are tuned in, I pray that our light would be lit and that our fire would not go out, and that whether we do it or we see it, just like our ancestors, we know that we're doing this for the next generation and children yet unborn. We thank you now for the victory that is ours because you're our God. In the name of Jesus, amen.
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 Man.
Thank you, Reverend Dinkins. Thank you, Reverend Barry. And there it is. There goes July. July, I think you're muted.
I was saying thank you so much for that blessed word and for praying over us, because we do a lot of work, and it's good to be covered, when you're out forward facing on so many issues and doing as much as our two organizations do. So it's just a pleasure to have you gentlemen on here tonight. Before we get started, for those of you who are tuning in, I want to encourage you to go ahead and share this link. Share it with all your friends, your groups that you're in. If the pastors want to go ahead and share, please do that, because we want people to get this good word, learning about our ballot and what is on there. So for about the next 25 to 30 minutes, that's what we'll be covering, is the 2020 ballot. And feel free to jump in and ask questions as I'm going through it. Ray, I'm going to take you out.
Yes, ma'am.
Off the screen, I should say.
Please don't take it out.
Just saying. Nah, you my people. All right. So, gentlemen, feel free to jump in. I'm going to bring Portia back to the screen.
Okay.
And we're going to begin to talk about the ballot. Did y'all want to stay on screen, or did y'all want to ask questions in the comments.
Let me just say this. Thank you so much for going through the ballot. Here's my thing, and you can take me off screen if you would like. I think our people, Black people, African Americans, we have generally only heard go vote. But this educational piece is so valid because the vote is not just one vote, it's several votes. And I think by you all walking through the ballot to make sure that we know that when we go to the poll, we're informed on who we're voting for, how their position impacts our community, even us, not just now, but generations to come as they make policy, as they do all those things. That is what we're really seeking, is that people will be educated in knowing that when they go vote, that they're not intimidated by people on the outside, and they're not even intimidated when they get in that voter's booth, but they would be informed and educated in such a way that they feel confident as they're casting those votes. It's one person voting, but it's several votes that they got to cast. So I just want to make sure that that's very clear and articulated. But thank you for your work y'all are doing.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right. Pastor Barry, you want to stay in or you want to?
I'm fine. I echo the sentiments of Pastor Dinkins. I want to applaud you all for the work that you're doing. And after we met with Shackelford a couple of weeks ago, I said, hey, man, I think some of the enlightenment, the educational piece needs to be a part of us intentional in our voting. And certainly that's why we're here. And I don't have to be on the screen. I can be behind the stage. I just want to make sure some people get the information,
right,
and we go to the polls educated and influencing what's going to happen in the days to come.
Absolutely. Well, we're definitely going to bring you all back so that our viewers can learn about the secret that y'all keeping from Houston, but I'll talk about that later.
All right.
All right. Portia, you ready? All right. Yeah. So first of all, the ballot is really long.
It's super long. It's a lot of stuff on here.
We're going to get through it, and so tonight we're not telling you who to vote for. We can't do that. That's a decision you have to make. We probably won't even name any candidates. What we're going to talk about is the roles that are played by the positions, or what the positions are for, I should say.
Right.
So you want to start first, Portia?
I will start off with just some frequently asked questions going into Election Day. So really quickly, guys, the voter registration deadline has passed to participate in this November 3rd election, the general election. I don't want to discourage you if you have not yet been registered to vote. So we can still take voter registrations. You just won't be able to vote in this particular election that's coming up in November. But voter registration is year round all the time. So you might not be able to participate this time, but I want to discourage you from registering to vote if you have not yet. So the deadline to participate in the November 3rd election, the general election was on yesterday. So just some other things to know here in Harris County specifically. The last day to request or to receive your ballot to vote by mail is October 23rd. That's the last day you can get it in your hand to be able to fill it out in order to use a mail-in ballot for the elections. So here in Texas, we don't have any, decreased or like liberal laws around mail-in ballots. So it's still 65 years or older. Disabled, have a medical condition, and or you're incarcerated but currently awaiting sentencing, or you'll be out of the city or the county of your residence on Election Day is your reason for requesting or being able to get a mail-in ballot. Our early voting starts here in Harris County on October 13th and runs through October 30th. So it's about 3 weeks long, starts on next Monday for you to be able to vote. Polling locations are open from 7 to 7, so 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and from 12 to 7 on Sundays. So Harris County is trying to be as safe as possible to make sure that you're not standing in line if you go vote early. So that's all we can say. Vote early if you're able to. Don't wait until Election Day on November 3rd because there will be lines. But you can try to go early if you can, if you're able, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday again, and from 12 to 7 p.m. On Sundays. Harris County is Vote Your Way. So you can vote anywhere there's a polling location during early voting and on Election Day. So you don't have to go just in your neighborhood. So you happen to be out grocery shopping or happen to be out at the mall or something on Saturday. You're like, I can go vote. Yes, you can. You can Google and go to harrisvotes.com and find a location near you wherever you happen to be 7 days a week in the upcoming weeks, next 3 weeks, to be able to vote. Other things to think about. So we do live in Texas. So I don't know if anybody else heard, but Governor Abbott did limit it to one location per county to drop off your mail-in ballots in person. So our location here in Harris County is the NRG Arena, Hall D. So that smaller hall that's like a little bit in the back. You can drop off your ballots there from 7 to 7 Monday through Friday and 12 to 7 on Sundays to drop off your mail-in ballot. If you would like to not place it in the mail, you can just drop it off there in person, but you still need your ID to be able to drop that off. Trying to think. Okay, also no straight ticket voting. So you do have to vote all the way up and down the ballot. So that's why it's very important for us to have this conversation today. So you will have to fill out each individual slot. If you're a Democrat or Republican, you have to go in and select each individual office on its own, as opposed to just going in and be able to say, I'm going to vote for all Democrat, or I'm going to vote for all Republican. We have no straight ticket voting here in Texas. They did try to appeal it and get that rollback for this election, but they were unsuccessful in doing that. So you have to vote up and down the ballot. Last thing, if you're voting, if you need to find out your information for Harris County, the polling locations, the times, harrisvotes.com is the link for that. harrisvotes.com for here in Harris County. If you happen to be in Brazoria County, it's brazoriacountyclerk.net. If you're in Fort Bend County, it's fortbendcountytx.gov. So it's 3 separate sites for our largest counties in the area. You can go there, you can view your sample ballot, exactly what we're going to be discussing today, so that you can get the information on who is running for each of the positions on the ballot prior to going into the voting booth starting as early as Monday. Or if you're going to fill out a mail-in ballot, some of you guys have already made your decision. But yeah, so that's all I had. I just wanted to get that information out to let you guys know. I'm sorry, one more thing, July. I'm so sorry. There are going to be 7 24-hour voting centers, but this is only for October 29th through the 30th. In Precinct 1, they're going to be at the NRG main office, Cashmere Gardens Multi-Service Center, and then the McGovern Texas Medical Center Commons, the 29th through the 30th. In Precinct 2, they're going to be at East Harris Activity Center, 24 hours leading up to the end of early voting. In Precinct 3, they're going to be at the Tracy Yee Community Center and the Juergens Hall. And then Precinct 4 is going to be Victory Church, Houston. And then July did also put the drive-through locations on the bottom there as well. So you can mail it in, you can walk it in, you can go vote at the polls, or you can drive through to vote. So there's absolutely no excuse at all to cast your ballot this November.
Thank you, Portia. And I just want to say about the locations. I know she named precincts. So basically, depending on what side of the county you live on, north, south, east, west. So maybe if we have time, we'll share that map, that county map. But basically the locations, those locations she named though, those are the places that you can vote 24 hours. So if you have someone in your family.
Only one day though, one day only, the 29th through the 30th.
29th and 30th. So if you have someone in your family that is a truck driver, work on the railroad, you know, those overnight people where they're on the go through the day, that will give them a way to go vote after 7 p.m., but only on the 29th and the 30th. And that's really important because I've registered people that say, well, I'll be on the road. And I was like, but we got you this year, you know? So one of the gentlemen, he was really excited to hear about that. So please share that with your family members, those who may be long haulers. They may work out of state. Let them know that they will have opportunities, especially if like they're flight attendants, that type of thing. So we also have drive-through polling locations, and you see those going across the bottom of the screen. We're going to keep that ticker up just so that you will know where those locations are. Again, those are drive-through locations. So if you have a senior who is not feeling this mail-in ballot thing, who doesn't want to risk it with the mail-in ballot, they actually want to go cast their own vote, put them in the car, mask up, have your ID, your state issued ID or your passport. I love to take my passport, and go vote at any of these drive-through locations. They're all across the county. And again, those are ticking across the bottom of your screen. So now Portia and I will begin to talk about what's on the ballot. So we all know that there's a presidential race, and that's the big thing that pulls people out. But this is what we call a midterm election. And a midterm election typically does not get the people to come out the way a regular presidential election does. Okay. So this year, this midterm election looks like it's going to be record breaking in terms of the number of people that come out, because there's so much that people are focused on, considering we are in a pandemic. Mm-hmm. So we're expecting great big numbers, and we know all of you are going to get out to vote. So we have the presidential election, and I don't think we have to explain what that involves. Next on the ballot is U.S. senators. So we have a senatorial race here in Texas. There are 4 candidates. Well, let me go back. For president, there are 4 candidates on the ballot in Texas. For U.S. Senate, there are 4 candidates on the ballot. So U.S. Senate. The Senate is very important because the Senate confirms who will be who will go to the Supreme Court. The Senate confirms when people are appointed to federal courts. So I want to sit there for a minute. Federal court appointments are lifetime appointments. That's a job that you get that you're going to always have unless you retire, die, or you commit some high crime. I only know of one federal judge that has come from the bench, and that was Judge Fuller in Alabama after a big mess that took place between he and his wife, a domestic violence situation. And we do have our purple up this evening. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October. So that's why you see the purple here tonight. But the Senate appoints people to the bench for a lifetime. And so in the past 4 years, 3.5 years, we've seen tons of federal judges be appointed. That comes through the Senate. They confirm those people. We've seen people appointed to the Supreme Court. That comes through the U.S. Senate. The president has the right to appoint someone, but they have to get confirmed by the Senate. So the Senate is super duper important. That's one piece of the Senate. The Senate is also the smallest house in the U.S. Congress, but I would beg to ask that we consider it the strongest house in Congress because of all that power that they wield when it comes to appointments, many of which are lifetime appointments. So please do not sleep on the U.S. Senate race. Please be very cognizant. Take your time to learn about the candidates who are running for U.S. Senate. This is very important. And the Senate also determines about if a president is impeached by the House of Representatives, it is upon the responsibility is upon the U.S. Senate to determine whether or not that president will be removed or not from office. And so we've had 3 presidents impeached. President Andrew Johnson, President Bill Clinton, and President Donald Trump. All 3 of them have been impeached. None of them have been formally removed by the Senate, but the Senate does have that power. Richard Nixon resigned. So that's why I didn't name his name, but most people think about him in that regard. Next up, we have the U.S. United States Representatives. So that's where people sit in the House of Representatives. That is our other House of Congress. So there are two houses in Congress. So for the United States Representatives, they run for office every other year. With Senate, they run every 6 years. And here in Texas, our Senate races are off by 2 years. So 2 years ago, we also had a U.S. Senate race for our junior senator. So our senior senator, our incumbent, is running to keep his job, and he has 3 challengers. Okay. So the U.S. House of Representatives, they run every other year. So they're constantly running for their job. Imagine that, constantly running for their job. So every other year, there are 435 members of the House of Representatives. So throughout the United States, they are seeking to be reelected to office, or someone is seeking to take their place or to fill a vacancy in the House of Representatives. Let's see. The next thing that you'll see on your ballot is Railroad Commissioner. So Railroad Commissioner is not what it sounds like. It sounds like they would be over the railroads, but actually they are not. They are over a lot of other things that impact us as Texans, and they're responsible for a lot of funding that impact us as Texans. So please do take your time and your due diligence to look at the Railroad Commissioner, the role of the Railroad Commissioner. We only have one Railroad Commissioner seat that is up this year, and there are 4 people running for that office. Supreme Court. So the Texas Supreme Court, let's talk about the Texas court system, because now we're getting into where we have a whole bunch of judges on the ballot. So the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court in Texas, we have what we call a dual Supreme Court, or dual high court in the state of Texas. We have the Texas Supreme Court that deals with civil matters and juvenile matters. And then we have the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals that is our high court for criminal matters. So we have 2, I should do FIS. We have 2 high courts. So I'm going to deal with the Supreme Court first. So the Supreme Court consists of 9 justices. There are 9 justices on our Texas Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice is the leading justice, right? They are like the chief, right? And so for Chief Justice, we have 3 candidates running for that race, and that's on everyone's ballot across the state of Texas. Then we have some 1, 2 here in this area. I think we have 2 or 3. 3. We have 3 seats in this area of the state. We have 3 seats on the Supreme Court that are up for election besides the Chief Justice. And so that's seats 6, 7, and 8. Those seats are up, those 3 seats plus Chief Justice. And so again, they deal with civil matters as well as juvenile matters. Okay. Then we have our Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. Remember, I had the 2 fists up and I did the Supreme Court. So now I'm going to do the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals deals with criminal matters. So it's the high court. So if someone's convicted and sentenced to the death penalty, automatically their case goes straight up to the Court of Criminal Appeals. It's an automatic thing that happens because, let's face it, we're dealing with somebody's life here, right? So the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals deals with criminal matters. There are various levels in our state court structure. So we have our 2 high courts. Then we have the Court of Appeals below. So our 2 high courts are the Supreme Court and the Court of Criminal Appeals. Below that, we have the Court of Appeals. On our Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, we have we have place 3, place 4, and place 9. So we have 3 justices that are up, or 3 positions on the Court of Criminal Appeals that are up for election. Again, there are 9 seats on the Court of Criminal Appeals, and 3 of those are up for election. So please take your time to look at those candidates and determine who would you want to make that final decision. Next, our State Board of Education. This one is really important to me because I am an educator. And so our State Board of Education, we have 2 positions on the ballot. We have District 6 and District 8 of the State Board of Education. And the State Board of Education, they make decisions about how we operate in the state of Texas. This could include dealing with curriculum. This could deal with the reopening of schools during a pandemic. You know, there are many issues that they face. And of course, budgeting, determining how funds are distributed to Texas school districts, our ISDs, our independent school districts. Next, we have our state senators, right? So we have several state senator positions in this area. When I say this area, I'm not just speaking Harris County. We're covering Southeast Texas. So we have state Senate District 4, State Senate District 6, State Senate District 11, State Senate District 13, State Senate 18. So 13, 18, I'll make sure I got it right, 11, and then my computer just froze. Let's see, 11, 6, 4, 11, 6, and 4. So State Senate. Our State Senate is comprised of 31 members. There are only 31 members of our State Senate. So that's not big. It's similar to the U.S. system, our federal system, where the Senate is the smaller house, the smaller chamber of Congress. Well, in our state legislature, the Senate is the smaller chamber of our state legislature, but arguably the most powerful of our chambers of our legislature. So our state Senate, we have those seats that are up for re-election. Here in Houston, there's several. I know 6 is Houston. Let's see. I don't think 4 is Houston. 11 is south of us. So 11 is like Pearland, League City, that area, Friendswood, Galveston, that area. 13 is definitely Houston. I'm not sure what 18 is. Next, we have our House of Representatives. So our House of Representatives, again, similar to in our federal system, that is our larger chamber of our state legislature, and it consists of 151 seats. Here in our region, we have several of those on the ballot. So when you get your ballot, your specific ballot, I can't read you your ballot because I don't know your address, but you can go to your county clerk. So whatever county you live in, you can go to Google and put my county, whatever your county is, and then put clerk's office. And it will show you the link to your county's clerk's office. You click that and you search for sample ballot, and you will enter your details where you live, and it will produce the ballot for your address, for your representatives, because our representatives vary depending on where we live across the state of Texas. Let's see. So next we have, it goes back to the courts. So this is the order that you're going to see your ballot in. So it goes back to the courts. So again, President, Senate, House of Representatives, that's the federal stuff. That's it for the federal stuff on your ballot. Then it goes to the state. And so the highest one is Railroad Commissioner. And then from there, we get to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. And then those Supreme Court justices positions. Then it goes to the Court of Criminal Appeals. And then it goes to our state Senate. And then our state representatives. That's the order you're going to see on your ballot. Following the state representatives, we get into the Chief Justice of the 14th Court of Appeals. And then we'll see justices for the Court of Appeals. So when I say Court of Appeals, that is our intermediary level of courts in our state system. So again, we have our two dual, right? We have our dual high courts, and then we have the intermediate court, and that is our Court of Appeals. And in Texas, we have 14 courts of appeals, and there are 80 justices across the state, which serve those 14 courts. Now, in those courts, there are what we call places, right? So on your ballot, you may see Justice, First Court of Appeals, District Place 3, right? Or you might see First Court of Appeals, District Place 6. But what you are seeing is that they represent those 80 seats across the state. So depending on where you're located in the state of Texas, you may see one of those on your ballot. So they handle the appeals from trial courts in their respective courts of appeals. So if it is a semi hit someone and it's a lawsuit, they didn't settle, they take it to court, someone doesn't like what the trial court determined, and they appeal it. That will go to the Court of Appeals for that civil matter. Or let's say it was a criminal matter and someone is found guilty and they're appealing it, right? So they will appeal it to the Court of Appeals. Again, the Court of Appeals is our intermediate appeals court. So it's our appellate level in the middle before you get to those two high courts. The only time you go straight to that high court criminally is when there is a death sentence. And that's automatic from the trial court. All right. So I'm giving y'all a little bit of, I guess, Texas government as I go through this. So my computer I have two computers in front of me. So y'all bear with me a little bit. So we have several people running for those Court of Appeal positions. And then we have our district courts. So our district courts are our lowest level. So there are 3 levels, right? So high court, appeals, and then that lower level. That's our district courts. And in Texas, we have 458 district courts with 458 judges. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of judges. So some of them are running for office this year and some will run in 2022 because it just depends on when they reelected. They serve 4-year terms. So with our district court judges, we have several of those on the ballot. And just depends. Again, it depends on where you live, which district will relate to you. There are 360 districts that are contained in one county and 98 districts containing more than one county. I don't know why I just read that. I'm reading this out of one of my textbooks. But again, 458 courts, 458 judges. Now on the ballot is not 458 of those, but I do want you to know that we have a lot of district courts. So there are district courts that deal with civil matters, and there are district courts that deal with criminal matters. Okay, and remember, they just trickle up depending on the appeals process. And so we have several district court judge positions on the ballot. Once you get past those that will be on your ballot, you will see what I consider one of the most important races that you can vote in, and that is that of the district attorney. Your district attorney serves as the chief prosecutor. They determine whether or not an indictment will be sought. They determine whether or not charges will be filed. They determine so much about our criminal justice system, right? So you really must pay attention to our attorney, our district attorney races in the state of Texas. They are one of the most powerful offices in the state of Texas. Okay. I can't reiterate that enough. They are one of the most powerful offices in the state of Texas. I need some water. Sorry. Doing a lot of talking. Portia, how I'm doing? I'm good on time. You're muted.
Sorry, y'all. Yeah, you're good on time. It's 7:40. And you are getting into our county races, so that is awesome. I just written them down. District attorney, county commissioners, county clerk, county tax assessor. We have our constables on the ballot. We also have our county attorney, county sheriff, and of course, you're at the district judges right now. So
okay, perfect. So
I just wanted to say too, if anybody is watching, I did drop the links in the chat for how to find your sample ballot. So July is going down each of these sample ballots in order. But I did post the links for Harris County for you to find a sample ballot, Fort Bend County and Brazoria County. If anybody wants to get on here and follow along, or if you just want to take a look at it after we're done, those links are in there. You can go directly to your sample ballot.
Thank you, Portia. All right. So we're in the county. We've done federal. We've done state legislature. We've done the state courts. We've done now we're at the county. We're at the county level. We're getting there. We're almost done. So we've talked about district attorney, and that's a very important race. Next, after that, we get into our county courts. Yes, we have county courts, and they are separate from our state courts. So our county courts, we have 3 county courts, or 3 types, I should say. There are 510 county level courts in the state of Texas with 510 judges. Not all 510 are on the ballot. So we have our county criminal courts. So you will see county criminal courts on your ballot here in Harris County. We also have county attorney. So your county attorney is different from your district attorney. Many of the cases that county attorneys deal with are civil in nature. Some will be criminal in nature, but many are civil in nature. But it's a very important position, and it's very critical to the business of the county. And so you will see that on your ballot. Next, under county attorney, you will see your county sheriff. So every county, we have 254 counties in the state of Texas. Every county has these positions that I'm naming. So your county sheriff is your chief law enforcement officer for your county, and they serve a 4-year term. They work closely with the district attorney and with municipalities in the county. For instance, here in Harris County, a few years ago, our sheriff, who also is responsible for our county jails, that's one thing I don't want to leave out. The sheriff oversees the county jails, but decisions are made together sometimes across different agencies. So you may have the district attorney, you may have municipalities, you may have the sheriff, and they may make a decision about how a certain issue may be addressed in the county, such as, say, marijuana. You can, here in Harris County, if you have, say, 2 grams of marijuana and you get pulled over, you'll be cited and released. But if you don't realize that you've gone a little bit further down 59 and you're no longer in Harris County, you're in Fort Bend County, where in Fort Bend County, they don't have that agreement and you're going to jail. See, that's the importance of knowing the difference between not just the counties, but also knowing who's in these offices and what their beliefs are on certain issues. So please pay close attention to these seats. So we have county sheriff. We also have county tax assessor and collector. The name tells you what they do, right? They collect the taxes, right? Run me my coins. Additionally, you have they are currently, that's who handles voter registration here in Harris County. Voter registration goes through our tax assessor's office. Elections go through our county clerk's office. And so I want to make sure we are aware of that. So elections go through the county clerk's office. Voter registration is in the tax assessor's office. Okay, so they do work in conjunction with each other in some regards, but not in totality. So we also have our county clerk. So our county clerk in Harris County resigned due to illness earlier this year. And so we're having an unexpired term. And so you will see that wording, you will see that verbiage on your ballot, unexpired term. And so we will be electing someone to finish out where she left off. Okay. And so that's for our county clerk. Your county clerk is who makes decisions about polling locations, makes decisions about such as a 24 hours to vote. So like how we're going to be able to vote on the 29th and the 30th for that 24-hour period. That's a decision that the county clerk made. The drive-through polling locations that you see on the ticker below the screen or at the bottom of the screen, that's a decision made by your county clerk. Now, that's not all inclusive, but I want you to know what's important, some of the important things that they do. Also at your county clerk's office, that's where you go for birth certificates, death certificates, various types of licensing, DBAs. How many of us are business owners and we have those doing business as, or those assumed names in which we operate our businesses? So the county clerk is a very important office. So please be cognizant of that. Let's see. County school trustees. So we have 2 of those on the ballot for Harris County. We have position 5 and position 7, both at-large positions. Then we have county commissioner. So in Texas, again, we have 254 counties. Each county has what we call a commissioner's court. And the commissioner's court consists of 5 individuals. Every county, 5 individuals. 4 of those people are county commissioners. And then 1 is a county judge. Our county judge is not on this ballot. Our county judge was elected in 2018. So we won't see that again for another 2 years. But our county commissioners, and they don't always run at the same time. Our county commissioners, they're responsible for mainly, one of the main things they're responsible for is infrastructure and supporting citizens. So like we're in a pandemic, so decisions are made about funding rental assistance, or perhaps during Hurricane Harvey, how do we assist the people in our communities that are hurting from these emergencies? So you'll often see the commissioners involved in those conversations, but they also take care of infrastructure. That's your roads and your bridges across the county. They make decisions about how the county is governed, who will be appointed. Say when someone has to resign because of an illness or someone dies suddenly, their county commissioners are commissioners court, and the county judge is part of commissioners court, that 5-person body. They will vote on an appointment. So that is a very important and very powerful body in every county across the state of Texas. And again, that's a 5-person body here in the state of Texas. Next, we have justice of the peace. So many states don't have justice of the peace like Texas does. But justice of the peace, they are also law enforcement, and they have different portions of the county. So there are 8 justice of the peace. 8 in the county. All right. And so on your ballot, you will see several of those up for election. You have precinct 1, place 1, precinct 5, place 1. All right. And then you have constables. So we have several constables. They are, and I got that mixed up. So let me correct that. Justice of the Peace is a court. So to be a justice of the peace, they run courts that deal with, say you got a ticket. You may not always get a ticket from a police officer or a sheriff. You can get a ticket from a constable, and that ticket, that's why I got it mixed up. The constable, that ticket you receive from a constable officer, you will take that to the JP court and you will either fight it or you'll pay it, right? But the Justice of the Peace also deals with our evictions in the state of Texas. They determine whether or not a landlord will win or lose, or whether a tenant will win or lose. Many of them use mediators in their courts, but our Justice of the Peace are very important local courts. So there are local courts that are specific to that area, okay? They're very specific to that area, and they deal with, so say it's a suit, they deal with amounts, I guess, in controversy of $10,000 or less. They deal with small claims and criminal misdemeanors, which are criminal misdemeanors that are punishable by fine only, not confinement, but fine, so money, right? So if it's punishable by a fine, you might find yourself in the Justice of the Peace. And they also have magistrate functions. So if someone is, and that's not always, but sometimes you'll see those come up. So let me keep moving. So we have constables. So our constables are law enforcement. And so we have several, in Texas, we got all kind of law enforcement. I think that was the thing. That was the biggest shock to me moving here when I saw the different types of law enforcement. But our constables are like, I would argue, similar to like neighborhood officers, because they patrol specific areas of the county, and that's it. So they have precincts, and they're responsible just for their cutout portion of the county, their precinct. And so on your ballot, you'll see constable for precinct 2, constable for precinct 3, constable for precinct 4, and constable for precinct 5 on the ballot. And each of those, they're just 2 candidates on there. So you may or may not see that on your ballot. It depends on where you live. For instance, where I live, my constable is not running for election. That seat is not up for election for another 2 years. So that won't be on the ballot. But for someone else, depending on where you live, you may see constable on the ballot. All right. In Baytown, and some people on here are Baytown. Baytown does have some city council member positions, as does Bel Air. Bel Air has a special election going on. They have a couple of propositions on their ballot. So if you live in Bel Air, you have 2 propositions. We will not be going over those propositions tonight. I'm sorry, we're just not going to do it. If you live in the city of Deer Park, there is a city council position that is up. Again, our city councils are our local legislative body for our municipality or for our city. So for legislative bodies in Texas, we know we have our state legislature. We have basically our county commissioners court that legislates and creates policy. And then we have our city council, which legislates locally. Friendswood also has propositions. Galena Park, it has a mayoral race, so they're electing a mayor in Galena Park, as well as their city council. Instead of a city council, they have city commissioners. But again, that's their legislative body. So they have a couple of people running for city commissioner. In the city of Humboldt has council member races. The city of Katy Katy has municipal races as well. They have they have 2 council member races going on. LaPorte has, I think, 3 council member positions that are on their ballot for LaPorte. League City, you have a city council. So there are a lot of city council races around the county, around the vicinity of Houston. So again, this is Harris County, and I'm actually going to read some other areas too. So League City has council as well. In Missouri City, because portions of these municipalities are within Harris County. So that's why you're hearing some of that. So in Missouri City, you have a mayoral race. There are 3 candidates on your ballot for mayor in Missouri City. Missouri City also has council member races. I believe they have 2 of those. Yes, they have 2 races in Missouri City for city council. So they have at large 1 and at large 2. And then they have some propositions on their ballot. And then Nassau Bay has a mayoral race, as well as I think 3 propositions on the ballot for Nassau Bay. No, actually 4. Ooh, what y'all doing down in Nassau Bay? They got a lot. Okay, so they have like 8 propositions, but that would just be for Nassau Bay. So the 21-page document that you pull up for Harris County, remember, that's not specific to your address. You will need to put your address in. If you go to this 21-page document, you're going to see all these propositions for Nassau Bay, and it's a lot. It's way more than I thought. Oh my gosh. City of Pearland has some propositions that will be on the ballot. They have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have a lot. And then Seabrook has propositions. So a lot of these cities in our area have propositions and city council races. The city of Webster has a city council race. Lone Star College system. So let's talk about Lone Star College and how we will see these special districts. So in Texas, our ISDs, our independent school districts, and our college districts are also governed by elected officials. So our college districts have trustees. And so Lone Star College is electing people to be trustees. All right. And then same thing, Channelview ISD, Clear Creek ISD. So a lot of our school districts, so depending on where you live, your school district will have some elections. I'm not going to go through all of those, but you know, your school district members, they make decisions about the policies that affect your children. They make decisions about whether or not your children are going to have face-to-face classes or if they're going to be virtual, what type of software will be used, what type of platforms will be used. If, say, there are racial tensions and something happens, they are the body that makes those decisions. I'm going to wrap this up. You'll also see like water board and mud districts on the ballot. Can't forget about mud districts. Those are our municipal utility districts. And when you live outside of the city proper, you may be on a mud system. And if you live in a lot of our suburbs like Missouri City or Pearland, you're definitely probably on some type of mud system. So again, those are municipal utility districts. There are probably 5 or 6 pages about mud districts. So just make sure that when you see that, you're voting on who's going to make decisions about maybe the rate of those utilities for where you live. Okay, so I'm getting notices that we are coming close to time. I know I have spoken for a really long time, but hopefully you all got some really good information. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I'm gonna bring Pastor Barry and Pastor Dinkins back to the screen along with Ray and Portia. So, how y'all feel?
To do
It's a lot,
that
but
without
it's
the
definitely
water,
needed.
great.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you did
So, do we
good.
have any questions from the comments?
No,
No.
basically everybody was just saying, thank you for the information. Like I said, I did post in there just the direct links. So if anybody wants to share those direct links out to individuals for Brazoria County, for Harris County, and Fort Bend County, those links are there for them to click directly into it to look at their ballot. But just as July talked about, if you look on Harris County specifically, it's extremely long. There's 21 pages on the sample ballot, but you can go in and put in your specific address and your zip code, and it'll bring up your individual ballot. So you'll be able to see exactly what you'll see when you go into the ballot, go in to vote. And then also just want to let people know you can take in, like if you need a piece of paper to remember your choices. Was like we said, there's no straight ticket voting, so you'll need to know like who all you're voting for. So you can take in a piece of paper if you need to write down all your choices, so you're not going in there and just guessing. So I encourage you to do that. Of course, you can't walk in with any candidate branding on or any political party branding, but you can go in there with a piece of paper if you need to write down your choices. So encourage you. We just went through this long. July did an amazing job of telling you all these different positions and what they mean. But it's really important that you know that you don't have to just guess these positions or guess these candidates when you go in. You can take a piece of paper and write down your choices so that you make sure that you're making your vote count where you want it to count. So just wanted to let everybody know that as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Portia, for that information. Also, remember, early voting starts next Tuesday.
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 A week from today, you can start voting. I know that the Greek organizations, we're pushing stroll to the poll on the 17th. I understand that the the faith community is pushing souls to the poll that same weekend. So the 17th and 18th next weekend, we want people to get out, especially if you're planning on volunteering during the election,
Yeah.
on election day, or during early voting. We want to encourage you to get out and vote early so you can help other people who may not have such a privilege. We want to encourage you to get out and go vote on the 17th and 18th. So whether that means stroll to the poll with your letters, ski wee, or if that means close to the polls and you praying. I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna pray and I'm gonna ski wee. So I'm being that pink and green when I go to that poll. But we want to encourage people to seriously take advantage of early voting. We want those early voting numbers to be so high. We want all eyes on Texas, all eyes on Harris County, Southeast Texas. We want them to say, oh my goodness, what is about to happen in Texas? All right. Ray, any parting words from you from Urban League? Any announcements coming up? Any good stuff coming up?
Well, I want to thank you, July and Portia, for continuing to meet and exceed the expectations. When it comes to Black women, you ladies always do your part, and so the thing I would encourage is our young brothers to make sure that we show up and vote. We do not vote in the numbers that we need to, specifically when you're talking about the 18 to 24 Black male demographic. We have to make sure we vote. You guys gave a lot of great information. And so tomorrow I'll be back with the pastors coming to you live from the Facebook page of the Houston Area Urban League. And we'll be with our Harris County clerk, Chris Hollins, to talk about the polling places, get into the details and the weeds of the county clerk and the elections operation to make sure people are able to put together a plan to vote, because we want everybody to print out their ballots, like Portia said, check all those boxes. I'll be voting on the very first day on Tuesday. You'll see me post about it. So just whenever you want to, just do it early so we can be safe and make sure our voice is heard when you're talking about the election cycle.
Ray, can you give us that time for tomorrow again?
Yes, tomorrow at 6:30 Central Standard Time from the Houston Area Urban League Facebook page. We will be live. We're going to get done prior to the vice president's debate that is taking place tomorrow. So everybody will be able to tune into that. We're expecting better performances, irrespective of who you're rooting for tomorrow night. I know I am.
Right.
All right. All right. Pastor Bear, you have anything for us?
You all are going to be scrolling to the polls. We will also, the fourth Sunday in October, be going from the pews to the poll with the Levites. So each of our churches, we're going to, as we've done the previous years, we'll be meeting up at our polling place here in our area. So we're going to be doing that as a united force.
Okay. I just want to make sure we share that screen. I wanted to share the graphic from Ray concerning tomorrow night. I think it's important that people see it, but I don't want to show the wrong thing on this screen. So how about I not even try that? I guess too many windows open. I don't want to show an exam or anything. You never know. Students might be watching. And hopefully they're getting this good information. So again, we want to thank the Northeastern Ministers Alliance and is it the Levites?
The Levites, yes.
The Levites. All right, we want to thank the Levites. Pastor, what you doing over there? Why are you sideways? We told you about your iPad. So y'all, this is the secret. These two are our kings of comedy. I'm going to work on. I wear a lot of hats. I know a lot of people. I think y'all need to do a pastoral night at the Improv. I'm here to see if we can make it happen. Because y'all are two comedians.
Listen, I've been trying to work on him since we were at Prairie View. But it's to no avail. I can't. I tried, but I can't. So I'm just gonna stick with pastoring. That's all. I can't do it.
Although he's taller than me and he played basketball, the football floors were above the basketball floors. So he's always beneath me.
We were holding them up. They needed to be uplifted. Yeah.
See what I'm saying, y'all? What y'all think? Do y'all think I need to work on trying to hit up Ali and see if we can get them at the Improv?
Listen, we need comedy. As much entertainment as we can get these days. Like I said,
I tell you. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to learn about what's on the ballot.
Absolutely. Great job, ladies. Great job, man. Looking forward to the March. Good.
Pastor Lee Skinner from the Levites will be with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much. I want to make sure that everyone knows that we will continue our partnership, the Houston branch of the NAACP and the Houston Area Urban League. We've been working together all summer, now fall, because voting is so important. We started off with people registered to be VDRs or certified as VDRs. We've been getting registered to vote for the past, 7 weeks? I'm so excited to sleep in this Saturday and do nothing at all. Do not call me. I'm not going to even be in Houston, so don't even look for me. But we're really excited about that partnership. I think it says a lot when two major civil rights institutions and advocacy institutions work collectively to push this community forward. And I think that sends the message across the community that we are stronger together when we work together collectively. So I want to extend a great thank you to Ray as well as to Mr. Judson Robinson, who is the president of the Houston Area Urban League, their board, all of their committees and members and volunteers.
OYP, the young professionals have been out every week as well.
Yes. You know, I feel like I have new family. I really do appreciate working with the Urban League. And I also want to thank everyone who came out Saturday. Saturday was our biggest voter registration event. We shut down Alameda. I know people on Alameda were tired of being asked about register to vote because we were on every corner. We shut it down between Southmore and Wheeler. You were anywhere between there, you got asked probably 4 times, have you registered to vote? And you also got asked about this, the 2020 census. So we have about 24 days left, 24, 25 days left to complete the census. So if you have not completed the census, you can go right there to 2020census.gov and get counted. We need that money. And we have these pins. If you get counted and you can show me your proof and you inbox the NAACP or the Urban League, we'll send you one of these pins from the Urban League. Make that count. All right. So we really want to encourage our community to get counted for the census. I love these pins. I probably have about 5 of them around here. I get one every weekend when we out registering to vote, and I just stick it on my shirt. So thank you all. This has been a wonderful evening. Community is back. Our weekly show, so we will see you next Tuesday. Not at 7 though. Same time, 4:30, maybe 5, but we'll always let you know in advance because we be working.
Educating the children of tomorrow, the leaders of tomorrow, y'all. We out here educating the leaders of tomorrow.
That's what we're trying to do. She get them in middle school and I get them in college, and we doing our best.
Yes.
Good.
All right. Well, don't you all leave, but those of you who are tuning in, we'll see y'all later. We're gonna talk to these kings of comedy a little bit longer. Good night, everyone.
Good night.